On today's show, we discuss a potential trade for a player who is swirling around the rumor mill right now. And oh, by the way, a player who I think would be a perfect fit on this Sixers team. Let's go.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into Philly Take with RB, #1 show providing the passion to the people, always breaking it down. You know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the show. Ring the bell so you don't miss any of the content. That is right. We are back. And, you know, there's not a lot going on right now in the NBA, just not a lot to really talk about. But this has been an idea that's been on my mind, and some things have come out over the last couple days and week that have kind of supported it, so I thought it would be a great time to go ahead and break it down. But the player in interest today is none other than Jae Crowder. That is right. Phoenix Sun Jae Crowder, 1 year left on his deal. He's 32 years old, helped them get to the finals the year before last, and he's been a pretty good role player. Now, this past year, he did have sort of a down year. I've heard some rumblings. I've heard different comments from different people, right? A lot of the Suns Nation is not as high on him right now. Now, that doesn't mean he's not a quality player. He is. The fact of the matter, though, is that they're trying to get over the hump, right? They bring DeAndre Ayton back, and that was a whole ordeal. And really, the Phoenix Suns are at that point where it's like, okay, they're trying to get above the threshold, right? Like, they're trying to win a championship, and whatever happens after that happens. But you have guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and you bring Ayton back. They're going to try to get at least one more go about with this thing, but they need a little bit more. And that's kind of where we're at today. But anyway, you know, this guy has been on my mind for a little while now in terms of potential trade pieces who I think would make sense, especially as, you know, the rumors heated up. I've heard rumblings of Miami and Dallas having interest in Jae Crowder. If I'm being honest, do I think the Sixers would even have a shot of getting him? I think it would be very hard. But if Daryl Morey wants to get creative like he has done in the past, you know, you could try to pull off something for Jae Crowder, and we will talk about that. But anyway, it's interesting when you look at the activity of Jae Crowder. So just a little while ago, on August 1st, a couple days ago, he puts out a tweet, and this really sparked the rumor mill. Jae Crowder says, "Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I believe it's time for a change. I want to continue growing." That's not the everyday tweet that you hear from a guy like Jae Crowder. Like, you don't just put that out on Twitter, especially with all these rumblings going on. The thing that really put it over the top, though, was Jae Crowder in his liked tweets. If you go and as you can see right here, we have the liked tweets. Look at the second one. A Mavericks page, Mavs_FFL, puts a cropped photo of Jae Crowder on Twitter, and he likes the post. And this comes out on the same day where Jae Crowder goes and puts out that whole tweet about wanting change and wanting to grow. So you tell me, what do you think this means regarding Jae Crowder? I think it means that he's ready for a change. He's ready for a new scene. Maybe the Phoenix Suns are trying to move on, and that's just kind of, you know, where it's at with everything. But there was an article put out a little while ago on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, and they were talking about the Suns offseason. Another tweet, by the way, when they put it on, you know, the article on Twitter, Jae Crowder interacted with this as well. But in this article, they talk about what the Phoenix Suns need to do, and they say, explore upgrades at the 4, Jae Crowder. You know, Phoenix previous 2 playoff exits have put Crowder, the starting power forward, in an impossible position where the Suns require more offensive punch at the slot. That's because of how Ayton, Paul, and the supplementary options on the perimeter have performed at times. It's not on Crowder, who's not that type of player, and continues to give the Suns more than enough based on what's expected out of him. He was excellent in the 21 NBA Finals and the second round elimination 6 weeks ago to the Dallas Mavericks, but that didn't end up mattering in the context of the Suns' fate. So again, when you think about it, you know, it's not Jae Crowder. I mean, he's still a quality player. This is still a guy that can, you know, give you production. He's a quality role player, and he's been around the game. He, you know, went to the finals with the Miami Heat as well in the bubble year. So he's had some deep runs, and this is a guy not only that you can expect to produce, but he is a great locker room presence. And I just want you to think about for 1 second, if the Sixers ever were able to pull off a trade like this. Imagine the starting five on this team, right? The Sixers, we haven't really utilized traditional forwards in the previous years. And when you look at the lineup this year, right, having two ball dominant guards like Tyrese Maxey and James Harden, both who can kind of play off the ball as well, Maxey more so, you don't really need a ball handling forward that's going to need a majority of the touches. And that's something that we struggle with in terms of what the role should be for Tobias Harris. But you think about Maxey, James Harden, obviously you have one of the most dominant big men in the game in Joel Embiid. All three of those guys can score at all three levels. What do you need around them? You need 3 and D, guys who can spot up, knock down shots, and honestly, you know, toughness. And that's what we got with the addition of a guy like PJ Tucker, and you add some of these other pieces around. Imagine a starting five of Maxey, Harden, Tucker, Jae Crowder at the 4, and Joel Embiid. That would be a dream scenario. That would be a dream scenario. I know some people think, again, that Crowder had kind of an off year. I think he would be a perfect fit for this Sixers team. He would come right in. He would demand greatness from his teammates. He has that personality. Imagine him, PJ Tucker, even a guy like Niang, all them chirping at the other team. Crowder and Tucker would definitely help address some of our perimeter defense issues, right? Crowder's a smart defender, and he continues to get better. And that's another thing about him. He continues to get better throughout his career, and he just needs the right fit. He needs the right type of players. James Harden would be able to dime him up, get him some really, really good looks. And I just think it would be a natural fit. I do. It's just about how you would be able to get that done. But before we look at that, Jae Crowder, a career 34.6% shooter from deep. But look at the last couple years. This past year, 34.8%, right around the average, a little bit below the league average. But the year before that, almost 39%. The year before that, with Miami in the bubble finals, 44.5% from deep. These last couple years, he's really nurtured over the technical prime of his career, and he's really started to fit in. And what happened during those years? He was put into good situations. And I'm sure if he wants to move on, he wants to be on a contender. Sure, he wants to be able to play. He wants to be able to make money. That's one of the biggest motivators, right? Look at the future. He has 1 year left on his deal. And that's this upcoming year. He's going to get paid about $10.1 million. He wants to earn another contract similar to James Harden, who's also 32 years old. They want to go and earn another contract and get paid, and obviously win and be on a contending team. And what better place to do that than here in Philadelphia? And I think he would fit. I think he would get a lot of playing time, and he would just be a natural fit. But like I said earlier, this would be tough to maneuver because you look at where the Sixers are at, what the Suns are trying to do. They want an impact player. Back in that article that we looked at, you know, they said they want a guy who has more punch at the 4. Now, if somehow you can put together a 3-team trade, I don't think this will happen, but, you know, Tobias Harris, I guess technically has more punch, right? He can give you 15, 16, 17 a night. The problem is, again, they're not going to be able to fit that contract on the books. So honestly, it would probably have to be some type of 3-team deal, unless looking at the Sixers books, you know, the Suns are fine with taking a guy like Matisse Thybulle, banking on that defense, right? Putting a defender like Matisse Thybulle around a defender like Mikal Bridges. That would be something to experiment with. Obviously, Thybulle needs to be better. You look at the salaries of Thybulle and Korkmaz, they honestly add up close to Jae Crowder, but I don't know if that'll be enough to move the needle for sure, unless the Suns are just trying to cut that salary and move pieces around, shuffle some things, and maybe try to create some more cap space for the future. Obviously, draft compensation would have to be included as well, but something to definitely keep your eye on. I don't know what the situation's like. I don't, you know, have the inside scoop per se on the Phoenix Suns, but what I do know is that if there is ever a way, and I know Daryl Morey, again, is always looking to get better. I think he really views this year, as we all do right now, as like that type of chance, that type of opportunity where you feel like there's something there. You feel like you're ready to take the next step this year. And honestly, maybe even come trade deadline, right? Daryl Morey, this is something to keep your eyes on, especially a player. Maybe he's not too happy in Phoenix and he's looking out. I don't know, but you always are looking for ways to improve your team and get better. And this is one pure way. I think it would be a natural fit. I think given how the Sixers are positioned and given the fact you want more shooting and more toughness around Joel Embiid and James Harden and guys like that. This is something I would do in a heartbeat if it ever became available. But those are just my thoughts. I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts down below. Would you entertain this trade idea? Do you think there's ever a way it could get worked out? Give me all your thoughts. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like always, we'll keep you up to date, and I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.